I'm excited to introduce Rohan. He is the Platform and VC Partnerships Manager over at Gorgias. Prior to joining Gorgias, he developed the Investor Partnership Program over at Clearbank, as well as spent over 3 years in the Toronto Stock Exchange. So worked very closely with companies in the junior marketplace to help them better connect to more qualified and meaningful pools of capital. So very passionate about helping companies scale through various means to ultimately help them reach success. So I'll hand it over to you, Rohan. And again, throw any questions in the chat, and hopefully we'll have some time at the end to answer those.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much for the intro there, Krista. I'm going to go ahead, share my screen here, and get this off to a good start. Okay, perfect. Hello, everybody. As Krista mentioned, my name is Rohan. I'm the Senior Platform Partnership Manager here at Gorgias. I have been at the company for a little over 2.5 years now. It's been an incredible experience helping companies grow and scale. And I'm looking forward to the next 2.5. Just if anyone is unfamiliar with Gorgias, we are the #1 rated help desk built for e-commerce. We are used daily by 25,000 support agents around the world, as well as 10,000 online stores, actually just surpassing 10,000 stores. Now, we are fairly international. We've got 6 major locations in terms of office locations, but we can really service any brand on e-commerce, Shopify, BigCommerce, and Magento. And we're looking to grow and expand that each and every day, help support agents really drive sales through those customer interactions as opposed to more of a reactive tool, which is what we've seen in the past. We work with companies all over the spectrum, from early stage e-commerce all the way through to more enterprise level companies. So if you're just starting out your e-commerce journey, you're looking for a consolidation tool, a help desk in place to help manage all of your communication channels, we can help you out there. If you are an enterprise brand, like some of the ones that you see on your screen, like Steve Madden, like Netflix, like the Miami Heat, you're maybe more of a complex solution, we can also tailor to your needs and really help you, show you how to turn customer support into a revenue engine to help improve that bottom line. And today we're going to be talking about how to build those strong relationships with your customers post BFCM and over the holidays. Of course, we just passed a pretty crazy weekend. We saw incredible stats on our side in terms of ticket volume handled by the brands that we work with, as well as the agents that are managing those tickets, and a pretty smooth operation all around. We were pretty impressed to see how efficiently users were using Gorgias on the brand side, and we loved to see the number of sales that were generated as a result of that. And it looks like a success all around when it comes to BFCM. So how do we build those strong relationships? Well, of course, as always, it's important to highlight the customer challenges, and these are even more amplified around high volume times like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and throughout the holiday season, where more people, generally speaking, are shopping around on your website. Some customer challenges that we normally see users face from the customer side: a very, very long first contact time. So 12 plus hours in some cases, which is incredibly slow for a brand to get back to a user if they have a specific inquiry or a specific question, and a 17-hour resolution time, which is essentially getting an answer to that particular customer based on an inquiry that they had, or a problem that they had, or maybe just more of a general question. And these are incredibly long times to be able to interact with the customer. And if you wait around for 12 hours to receive a response, or you wait around 17 hours to receive a resolution, during Black Friday, Cyber Monday season, as well as the holiday season, shoppers are often going to help themselves and shop around and just check out what else is out there and see if another brand might cater to them in a shorter period of time. Another challenge that a lot of customers face is a lack of personalization. So when we do see that high ticket volume spike throughout these seasons, customers are often feeling like they might just be another number. They're not necessarily catered to in terms of the brand actually knowing who they are, if they possibly made a purchase with that brand before in the past, they're known to the brand in some way, shape, or form. And not creating that personalized experience, again, is a big turnoff for the customer, where, again, they might take themselves to another website. And finally, just having to repeat themselves a number of different times. If you have an issue as a customer chances are you're going to want to ask the question once and receive some sort of resolution just based on that one ask. And yes, you might need to provide a few different pieces of information to help the merchant cater to your problem. But if you have to repeat the actual issue a number of times so that the merchant understands what exactly it is you're looking for, then obviously it's going to be a turn off experience for the customer. And so these are some of the issues that customers do face here today. And then merchants, right? When we take a look at high volume times like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and what we just saw, um, we saw incredibly good stats in terms of driving sales out of CX via Black Friday, Cyber Monday. But chances are, if you're not catering to those customers in a reasonable period of time, it's leading to missed sales opportunities, driving more revenue out of CX via those tickets, decreased efficiency overall, and of course, a decreased customer satisfaction score, which nobody wants. And on the other side of the equation, it leads to those high labor and high technology costs, right? Maybe you need somebody else in place to handle a higher number of tickets where you could have been using more automation and machine learning. And those are a couple of efficiencies that are lost on the merchant as a result of not having a good solution in place to deal with your tickets year round, but particularly during high volume times like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the holiday season. And the missed sales opportunities come in a number of ways, shapes, and forms, but conversions is number one. So a lot of agent time, typically in this sense, is spent on uh, just a reactive support function, right? Somebody asks a question, I'm going to get back to that question. But a lot of times, things can be automated and put in place so much so that agents on the brand side are able to take more of a proactive approach to being able to interact with customers via a number of different channels, so much so that they can actually drive conversions out of those interactions as opposed to being purely reactive. You're also missing missed sales opportunities on your ad spend. So, how, as a brand, are you going to be able to harness those social leads if a lot of your time is spent on more reactive interactions with the customers as opposed to engaging with your customers through a variety of different channels, not just email, not just phone, but through live chat, through social media, through SMS? Those are all opportunities to drive additional revenue and income. And missed opportunities in the form of average order value. Maybe if you had spent some time interacting with a customer on a little bit more of a detailed level, you might be able to tell them why, yes, you purchased item number one, but based on what we've seen others purchase in the past, you should also purchase item number two and item number three. So add those items to your cart because they complement each other really, really well. And if you have a 360 view of the customer when they do come through with an inquiry, you already have all of the basic information associated with that customer at your fingertips, at your disposal, that you don't have to spend a large period of time diving into those features, right? You can dive into the actual want of the customer and help them choose products that are going to better their experience. And the high labor and technology costs also come in a number of shapes and forms. Manual ticket responses, obviously, not utilizing automation and machine learning to its optimal level is going to cause a lot of agents to have to handle every single ticket manually. Obviously, there is that fine line between over automating and automating just enough. So you can't turn into a pure robot as a brand and just automate every single ticket that comes through. That's just not going to work. And customers, of course, are going to receive responses that aren't actually addressing their inquiry. But there is, generally speaking, opportunities for brands to automate about 15 to 25% of tickets, so much so that agents are not having to spend a lot of their time on super repetitive inquiries like "Where's my order," which we love talking about. But they can focus their efforts on more complex issues that may be able to drive sales. And not having one solution in place that will allow you to consolidate all of your channels like email, chat, phone, SMS, social media is going to cause you to have multiple different solutions in place. So increasing technology costs from a point solutions perspective. But also, if you don't have an integration with your platform like Shopify, you're going to have to spend a lot of your time as a merchant, as a CX agent, toggling back and forth between different screens, trying to understand very specific pieces of info on the customer, and then going back to your help desk system to copy and paste certain pieces of information, to perform different actions that you could just be doing in a platform like Gorgias. And toggling back and forth, of course, takes a lot of time, and it leads to manual human error, which of course nobody wants during high volume times. And voice support oftentimes is very, very time consuming. How can you deflect those voice interactions? Maybe you can implement something new on your website, like a live chat that allows customers to go in and either help themselves or engage with someone on the website. Those are all tactics that a brand can use to be able to drive sales out of the CX function, utilizing multiple different channels and to keep those high labor and technology costs down. And so, how can we turn customer support into a profit machine? Well, increasing revenue, so improving conversions, average order value, repeat purchases, and also reducing costs, so improving efficiency overall. Um, and cre- Sorry, excuse me. And so one of the things that brands can control really, really easily is responding to customers' problems quickly and then finding those resolutions. So first response time and resolution time are two very important stats that we talk about Gorgeous quite frequently that can be very, very easily controlled from a merchant perspective, but sometimes they're just overlooked and it leads to fewer conversions, which we're going to see in an example. But there's an impressive stat that 28% is the conversion rate for pre-sales chats or SMS, so two channels that are increasingly being used today that are replied to in fewer than 10 minutes. So if somebody, a customer, comes to your brand with an inquiry, with a question, um, and you as the merchant are responding to that customer in less than 10 minutes, chances are there's a really good chance that you can actually convert that customer into making a purchase on your website, or perhaps, like we talked about earlier, increasing their average order value based on that interaction. And so, compared to last year, this is something that we saw a lot of brands improve upon, getting back to the customer in a reasonable period of time through these new channels like SMS and live chat, which are increasingly becoming more used to be able to interact with the customer on a more personal level and to help cater to their actual needs based on what they're purchasing on the website and possibly even purchasing more. And Brewmate is an example that we always like to talk about. So this is through the period of last Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and through to halfway through Q1. If you're looking at the first response time for Brewmate, it's an impressive 54 seconds. 54 seconds is incredible. And the resolution time is about 8.5 minutes. So just based on those two stats alone, they are large indicators for how many sales a particular brand can generate out of those interactions. And Brewmate is an incredible example, of course, a more enterprise level customer, but they were able to generate through that time period, through just one channel, 365,000 nearly in sales, just based on the fact that they were able to get back to that customer in a reasonable period of time. They were able to resolve that customer's inquiry or question and provide them with a reasonable response, so much so that they can make that purchase or add even more to their cart. And number two is enable customers to help themselves, right? So if you're like me and if you're like most people, this is an example I refer to a lot. You're always going to try to solve a problem before you reach out to anybody else for help. And this is not just with respect to online shopping through Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but also just anything in life in general, right? You're going to Google the answer. You're going to try to find a solution before you solicit somebody else to bring them into the equation. And this is the exact same thing. I go to a website and I want to report an issue. I want to generate a refund. I want to check I want to check the status of my order and maybe where it is in the shipping cycle. I can do all of that by myself as a customer. And it's really important. And we saw this through this most recent Black Friday, Cyber Monday of brands that we work with enabling the self serve function to allow customers to essentially help themselves to a few of these different topics. And just by allowing customers to perform these own actions within the live chat feature, it frees up so much more time for agents on the brand side through, again, these high volume times to focus their efforts on inquiries that are a little bit more complex, where they can interact with that customer on a deeper level to help them add to cart. And this helps us to retain holiday shoppers long term, which is what we're talking about today. So, one of the ways that you can do that is you can automate your personal responses to upsell your customers. So, you can actually free up time for agents at scale by creating this personalization, including their name, including their order number, including their shipping information. And you can also automate up to 25% of tickets so that you're again focusing your efforts on things that are a lot more complex and situations where you can actually drive some revenue through the CX function and upsell your customers by including facets into that equation. So when you as the merchant are able to create macros or canned responses in the back end to automate very repetitive questions that come through, like where is my order, you can also include different items in that response, like perhaps a points balance and how many rewards that particular customer has left to utilize at your online store. And by just including that small little detail in a everyday response to a customer, it's going to show them that, hey, I've already made a purchase on this website, and this item I know for a fact is coming to me and it's going to arrive in 5 days. But also, I didn't realize I have 5,000 points to use with this business. And I'm going to actually go right back to the website and make an additional purchase. Maybe I just did some BFCM shopping for myself and I have to do some Christmas shopping or some holiday shopping for other people in my life. And I didn't realize I had all of these rewards to utilize with this brand. And instantaneously, that is a way to bring that particular shopper back to your website so that they can engage a lot more through that holiday season, but also, of course, into 2023. And through these high volume times like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which we just saw, and into the holiday season, it's very, very important that you define who your VIPs are. These times are often the times where you recognize which shoppers are really, really dedicated to you, which shoppers are really, really loyal to you. And perhaps you want to identify those VIPs. Perhaps they're a big spender at your business. You saw so through Black Friday, you're likely to see again through the holiday season. And you want to keep tabs on this particular individual so that when they come through and you know for a fact they say spent like $10,000 with you, through Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you're going to want to make sure you tab that customer and cater to them when they do come back to your website, and give them that white glove treatment and give them that handhold experience, that personalized experience that is going to show them that you know who they are. And you're going to really, really make sure that they feel important when they do shop with your brand so that that loyalty never, ever goes away. And you want to boost your conversions with an omni-channel strategy. So this is very, very important, of course. So I always like to talk about utilizing different channels, not just the main two, which we're going to see in a slide or two. But utilize new and effective channels like live chat, like SMS. And when you do institute things like live chat campaigns, it is going to allow you to engage with the customer if they sit on a page for a specific period of time, so much so that you can actually generate sales out of these interactions by simply indicating to them that, hey, I know you're shopping on my website. Are you having trouble finding a product or selecting the right item? I can help you out. And as a result of you just popping yourself into that conversation with the customer on your website, it can lead to sales, as opposed to them not knowing what to purchase on on your website and perhaps just hopping right off to perhaps make a purchase on another website or just not shop back at your website at all. And conversions, SMS, and I know we just saw Greg from Attentive. SMS converts at a 5 times higher rate than email, and it's a channel that we're seeing increasingly used across our brands with partners like Attentive more and more every single day, because it's a way to interact with the customer on a device that they always have in their hand or always have in their pocket, like myself. And so I'm always checking my phone. I'm always checking my text messages. And if you can engage with those post BFCM shoppers through a channel like SMS, you're going to be able to send campaigns to all of those people that visited your website or made a purchase during this time period, and then have them come back for more. Maybe you want to provide them with exclusive discount codes so that they come back to your website for a new product release, for an exclusive discount, so that they can really generate sales via SMS. And I may be out of time here. So I'll talk a little bit about that channel really, really quickly. But be omni-channel. That's the most important thing that you can do post BFCM, is engage with your customers on a variety of different channels. So understand where they're coming from. Email we're going to continue to see be the #1 channel that customers use to get in touch with merchants. But also keep an eye on the growing channels like chat and SMS and social media, where there are different ways to be able to harness those post BFCM shoppers and have them come back for the holiday season and into the new year. I know I have a couple of slides left, but I'll pass it over to Krista because I know I'm out of time. I've done this before on the hosting side, so I'll let you do your thing, Krista. Maybe we can take a couple questions.
Yeah, thank you, Rohan. So we don't have time for questions, but we do have your booth open. So whoever does have any questions, go over there. Rohan and his team can answer anything related to Gorgias. And then, of course, we'll send out the recording to all of this early next week. So you guys will have that. But thanks so much, Rohan.
Thanks
Always
for
a
having me,
pleasure.
Krista.